Hello and welcome to a special bonus episode of Sports and Songs podcast. Andy, tonight we're going to be interviewing a couple tribute bands
Yes.
with some special guests joining us tonight from And One for All, a Metallica tribute band. Chris is on site here. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
And Beth from Queens of the Ryche.
Yes.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Beth.
We've had Beth on before. She's no stranger to the show.
Yes, we have.
No
And
pressure.
Chris is from us. First of all, we got this starting when we saw the big show coming up August 16 and 18. Metallica coming to town. And God bless their organizations having two different sets of opening acts each night and everything else.
Yep.
I wouldn't even want to try to tackle that one.
Nope.
But you guys, Chris, are going to have a little preview show at Bogart, and Beth's band Queen of the Ryche is going to be opening up before that. Now, Beth, when we had you on before a few months back, you mentioned how you guys were thinking of doing Operation Mindcrime as a set list one night.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
I
Here we are.
know. I do recall too when in a band for maybe 2 months, and I was absolutely terrified of even approaching it. I will say I was terrified because this is not. Oh, so Sweet Sister Mary's a part of that. Are you going to do that? And I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, we're doing it all. We are doing it. Plus a few extra songs because we have a few. Mindcrime, start to finish.
All right, great. And then now, Chris, how many shows have you guys done together as And One for All?
And One for All is a new project born out of, I was in another band for 15 years doing the same thing, and it had run its course. And then I used to do a jam night at Route 47 all the time, so I've been there many times. And that's how I met the guys who I'm in the band with now. They were all musicians at that jam night. So this would be, I believe, officially for us, show number 3.
So to kind of talk football terms, you've had 2 preseason games, and now here we go. Boom.
Right, and all with the starting lineups.
Yes. No backups, no fill-ins.
Right.
So, you guys obviously were all big Metallica fans beforehand, or did you kind of come to the party late as a Metallica fan?
I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and they were all around me. I mean, I worked as an usher at a movie theater, and I used to sit James a lot, actually, during the Justice tour.
Okay.
So he would come and sit in our office, and we'd bring him in when the movie would start, and then we'd go get him right before the credits would roll, get him out, and kind of hide him a bit. We did that with a lot of people. So growing up where I grew up, we would see them all the time, out and about. It was very normal to see the guys from Metallica at a club, at the grocery store. So to me, they're kind of like normal dudes. They were never they're actually bigger now than they were back then, if that makes any sense.
And so I guess it kind of answers the question. A lot of guys from tribute bands, yes, you've met the real band.
Absolutely.
Did they ever have a problem with you guys being a tribute act for them?
No. As a matter of fact, I remember James making a comment that we beat them to the Middle East. My previous band had played the Middle East before the actual Metallica did.
Oh wow!
So they were kind of taken aback by what a tribute band could do.
But they played Antarctica before you did, though.
And about 170 other countries.
That's right.
So yeah.
Now, Beth, have you ever met anyone from Queensryche before?
No, and I say not yet, but they do very much know we exist. Whip, one of the guitarists, is dating a Minnesota gal.
Oh, okay.
And they have here last September for Rocktoberfest. And we're actually in touch with their social media people because Queensryche themselves are coming here October 25th. And so or what have you. And they've seen our videos. They actually creeped on our YouTube and have seen our videos and have been quite complimentary. And Todd and Whip and, I can't remember the third one who saw the videos. This was recently within the last 2 weeks. So we were very excited.
All right. So speaking of, let's go back to the point here. August 15th, down at Bogart's.
Yep.
First of all, how'd that come out? Did Bogart's call you guys? Did you guys plan this and say, hey, we're looking for a place to play? How'd that go, Beth?
I'll start and you fill in, Chris.
Sure.
I was aware of Chris's former band and then getting together with this group. The tribute band scene is very tight. We all know who each other is. And so I know the other members' band, and I've jammed with them many times, and other members of my bands are in other bands with members of that band. So knowing that they were getting going and knowing that his former band had a show coming up with my my cover band, my regular cover band, and Queen of the Ryche was getting started, and I thought, oh, this would be a cool combination because the two bands had actually toured together multiple times, late 89 or in 89 and 91. Mm-hmm. This could be cool, but what if we, and I didn't have a date in mind at the time. I was thinking fall because Bogart's typically is closed during the summer for private events and just for summertime. And Chris, why don't we do something to sort of build up to that particular show?
Yeah. Correct.
So we approached Bogart's and they were.
Yeah.
And so now Metallica, they kind of help you decide the date that, hey, since we're going to be there in August, why don't you do it before us? Or did you kind of?
An idea that came out of the last time there at US Bank when it first opened. I had done a night before show that was very successful. And piggybacking on what Beth had said was one of the best parts of, I think, what she said about the tribute bands here in Minnesota is we're not competitive against each other. We're actually supportive. And we want to work together, not like try to get more followers and show you up kind of thing. That if we work together, we can make her fans, our fans, her fans, everybody. It's just, it's a different attitude than I think sometimes what the original bands would go through, which is obviously it is a competition. And this is not. We just thought what a great opportunity to do a night before show. The fans are here in town for the most part. I know some will be coming in later, maybe even that same day, but it's a whole weekend of Metallica, and why not kick it off with a lineup again that no one's seen since the Black Album tour in '91 when Queensryche last toured with Metallica. So we're bringing back some nostalgia there as well.
Well, like Metallica's pushing how it's going to be two different set lists on two
Correct.
nights.
Mm-hmm.
Your set list is something different. So for a Metallica fan, that's three different options you're seeing right there.
Correct. We're not playing any songs that Metallica is playing on this tour cycle at all.
Oh, okay, great.
So anyone who comes to see the show that night is going to get all the blanks filled in.
All the B-sides, if you will.
Correct. And actually on
awesome.
A-sides, the beauty of a band that's been around 43 years is even they can't play them all.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's plenty for us.
And that's the great thing with some of the tribute bands I've seen is they play the other stuff too. They don't play just the hits, which is kind of great.
Behind.
Deep tracks.
You'll be very surprised. I don't know what Beth's experience with this is. In a tribute band, it's interesting to dig that deep and see the fan reaction to it. They're like a human teleprompter. They're singing word for word these songs that their favorite band just doesn't play live anymore. And they love it. They do. So I'm excited.
And you forget when you see certain bands, because if you like them, you listen to everything on the album. So you forget what was the release song, what wasn't. It's like, why didn't they play that song? Well, they never released it. But it's my favorite song. You know,
yeah.
So you got that coming up here. It's just a couple more questions. Like I said, Beth, you guys this will be your first time doing the album.
Yes.
Is it something we're going to keep doing, or is it going to save that kind of for special events?
Yeah. New Queensryche material. And I think another thing we have on our work list, we have an ever-growing work list that we get to when we can. And I think the next thing to tackle that is actually a couple of songs off of the Todd, I'll call it the Todd era or post-Empire. So we're looking at something from Promised Land and then moving into digital noise.
Okay.
I would say their best release since Jeff Tate left. So we want to keep putting in new fresh material. But yeah, I mean, if there's interest in seeing Mind Crime again, there would be an appropriate time and place. And of course we would bring that out again. But we do want to keep infusing new material.
Yeah. And like you're saying, Chris, how everybody knows everybody in all these tribute bands. Like, you got Tribute Fest up in Duluth.
Yep.
You could have 15 guys, you get 6 different bands out of it, because
you'd be surprised.
bands,
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what I like great about here in Minnesota. Everybody's in different bands. It's so kind of cool. But is there ever competition to get guys from other bands to fill in once in a while? Like, is it easier to find him? Like, say Jimmy was sick one day. How hard would it be to find someone to fill in for him last minute?
Last minute, I don't think it'd be hard because of actually just from the network of jam nights that me and Beth do between Bogarts and Ziggy's and things like that. The things that me and her have been able to do and network ourselves and find the bands that we're in. Even to replace Jimmy is actually quite impossible. To get someone to play some Kirk Hammett stuff, I don't think would be difficult at all because of the awareness. I've done it in my previous band, and I remember that lost look you said James had. I had the same one because the notes might be the same, but there's something different about it that I'm not with the guy I'm used to.
Right.
And so, but the show would go on for sure at the level that me and Beth have worked so hard to get to. We're not going to let a show slip past us due to a sudden illness or something, unless it's super serious that we need to put things on hold for the band's sake. Right. But if it was like, I'm stuck in traffic, can't get there, we'd find somebody for sure.
And that's what I think is so great about the area.
And I think, as a matter of fact, I think Jimmy would be the one to tell me who to get.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Probably whoever you got to get replaced. Hey, this guy I know can do it. That guy can do it.
I trust this guy. So, yeah.
Oh, Jimmy is, I've seen him a couple of times. He's just incredible.
He makes me better.
Yeah, he is a nice guy. Now, how long? Now your set's gonna be how long, Beth? Probably about 45 minutes then for the one album.
Yeah.
Actually, the Mindcrime is about an hour, almost exactly an hour long, and then we're doing.
What was that? You cut out there a little bit, Beth.
Oh, did it cut out? Oh, I'm sorry.
So you're about an hour, you said?
After an hour, cut out after that.
Okay, Mindcrime is an hour long, and after that, we're doing several more songs. So it would be a 90-minute set total.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay. Nice, nice. And how long?
How long do you guys plan on playing, Chris?
Same. So this is a co-headlining gig. My band and Beth's band were equal head, just like the Guns N' Roses. Perfect segue, right? Yep. So neither one of us is what you would call a headliner. We're both doing it, and that's there's not anyone who's seen Beth perform. It's difficult to ever envision ever saying the words opening. She, that just, again, that goes back to something I'd said earlier about we're not competing against one another. We're here to her band help my band help her band, and build a following together, and hopefully do this again. This should not be a one-off. And I don't ever want it to be in that structured that way, because the opening band oftentimes gets very little stage, no sound check. There's a lot of different things that come along with being a headliner, and I'm not going to take that from Beth. That's not going to happen. Not on my watch.
I suppose since Metallica's in town, you guys are kind of getting the press as the name for it. So that's the reason for that part. That's Big Brother's going to be here the next night. So,
Well, right. So if Beth had said, like come October, if she says, well, we're going to do a Queensryche show for the Queensryche show, would you like to play with us? Absolutely. And then we would play first. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down.
We got it on tape, Beth. We got it on tape.
Awesome.
Because she's going to be capitalizing on the fact that her band's in town. So we're not going to step on that. Absolutely not.
So basically, I heard he's open October 25th, Beth, if you want to write
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's it'd be 24th, the day before.
Right,
So
right.
pencil that in, Chris.
Hey, I'm happy to do it. So.
All right. So I really got nothing else. Is there anything else you guys want to say to kind of?
I got a couple
things. Say about we talked earlier about the charity event. Yeah.
So the Metallica has a charity called All Within My Hands. It's quite massive. They raise millions of dollars and they stock a lot of food shelves and so many things. They do scholarships for music schools and get the instruments to music schools. It's a massive charity. And part of this thing with Bogarts is because they don't normally do shows in this month, their average fan base is just not even aware that there's a show, quite honestly, because they don't, it's like, they're not doing this. So they just kind of tune it out. And I understand that. So we've been trying to think of creative ways to get people, into it and aware of it. So part of that was we've been doing stage giveaways at different points, activating certain things that me and Beth had talked to Bogarts about when this first started earlier in the year when it was still very cold. So it's been working up to this final push is to let the fans know that if they bring non-perishable canned goods to Bogart's night of the show, it's $5 off their admission. And then I'll be bringing any food personally to the Second Harvest Food Shelf in Brooklyn Center, I believe. So, which is the shelf that Metallica has chosen for their Minneapolis tour. So,
all right, great.
Yeah.
If we can, let's give some respect to the other people in the band. Beth, who else is in your band? Anyone you want to give credit to or shout out to?
Ramirez, who is also in a Linkin Park tribute band. We have our bassist, Thomas Moga, who is also in a Linkin Park tribute band. You'll find this throughout. We have Dale Schultz, who Sugar Buzz, but he's the bassist in Sugar Buzz. So it's a very incestuous business. And then we have not one, but two lead guitar players. We have Mark Ganji, who is currently with an original music band called Heba Country, and our other lead guitarist is Aaron Schmidt, who is also in an Iron Maiden tribute band called 2 Minutes to Maiden, and he's also in a Scorpions tribute band called In Trance.
I've just heard of them recently.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, so there's another Aaron Cole, who is the drummer for And One for All, is in the 2 Minutes to Maiden band, along with Aaron.
Yep.
See, everybody knows everybody, works with everybody.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who else you got in your band, Chris?
I don't use their names unless they pay me. So,
All right.
question.
You have to show up and find out. And bring a food item too.
As you know, there's Jimmy, who we talked about earlier. Just a phenomenal musician. I think again, everyone knows everybody in this one. Sam, absolutely phenomenal bass player. And then Aaron, who she had mentioned. I'm blessed and lucky to be in a band with these guys. They're just really damn good at their instruments and just good men, good solid men. And speaking of 2 Minutes to Maiden, our very first show, Beth had gotten ill and could not make it to do the opening slot. And for that very first show in Monticello. And it's funny because Aaron's fiance was there, and we ended up calling the 2 Minute Maiden guys, and they came last second and did an opening. It was actually they probably had a really good time. So they didn't have time to think about it, and they showed up, got on stage, and played. So it was we say, it's just how it is. It always works out. It just does.
Don't think, just play.
That's right. Don't think,
now,
just plug in. Here's some electricity.
I've heard some scuttlebutt and some rumor. Has 93X been working with you guys on this a lot too, or helping promote it?
No, they I think the initial plan was to have some radio stuff happen, and then the Metallica itself, they push. I think it's a structured thing where they just push Metallica,
Okay.
Metallica, and that's all they've been doing. And so we've been trying to tag into that, and they have mentioned it a couple times. Actually, they did mention it, but it wasn't a structured radio ad. It was more like the 93X half-ass morning show talking amongst themselves and said, "Oh, and by the way," which is still better than nothing,
right?
But that was more of what I found out recently was that came directly from Metallica. They didn't want anything to take away. It's a standard press thing that they do. So it doesn't like James Hetfield's son has a band that plays every weekend that Metallica's here, and even they're not getting pushed.
Oh, wow. Now,
not with separate ads.
I see.
We talked about this last week. I think it's kind of funny when Metallica comes to town here locally, how all of a sudden, 104 is giving away tickets to Metallica. Cool 108's got Metallica tickets. Every station has Metallica tickets all of a sudden. They're big Metallica plays here type of stuff.
Yep.
Just certain bands just carry that weight when they come through town, Yeah. And they're one of them.
It's true, and even we gave some tickets away ourselves. To one lucky winner got a 2-day ticket. So they do that when they do the initial sale. They'll reserve probably 1,000 seats, I imagine, whether it's on the floor or wherever, and then disperse it. And that's done through Live Nation, is my understanding. So that's pretty standard, I think, for a band of that size doing 2 stadium shows. It's a big place to fill. It just is, even for Metallica.
Like I said, they got different opening acts both nights too, so that's kind of cool too. So
yeah, no, it is, and they're doing. I think they're doing quite well with that. I mean, having it to have all the bands doing the same part of the tour, and have Five Finger as the main and Pantera as the main, both Friday and Sunday, keeping that logistically. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, you got to remember who's your opening act and who to thank when you get out there.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's all I got. Dan, you got any questions for him or?
I was going to ask, what is the capacity there at Bogart's for people who've never been there before? Is it a close, tight, intimate set, or is it a larger stage? What is the seating arrangement there? Is it all just standing?
No, there's tables as well. So you can purchase tables after you purchase your ticket, or you can take a chance that there might be one available. I believe the capacity, Chris, you're going to have
1 million.
1 million people can go to Bogart's.
But that's standing room only, then. That's standing room only.
Yeah, 350 to 400 probably.
Yeah, it's a nice size, and Bogart's really built it. Food as well, full kitchen, and it's like a 3-level stage area. So as a band, it's a pleasure to play because you have so much space to work with. So the whole thing, and it's a delight. And they've recently upgraded their lighting kit and everything as well. So they're investing in their music program, and I think I've been personally very impressed with Chris Loth, who's one of the owners of Bogart's. Oftentimes you feel it's on your shoulders only to promote the event and to get people excited. And Chris and his management team were really willing to work with both Chris and I. There's 2 Chris's involved here, not to be confused.
Yeah.
Try and get the maximum so that we all could have a multiplier effect when we're out there doing our press. And I don't, not every venue does that. Not every venue does that. And it's just a joy and very refreshing.
Yeah,
Really does.
They've been fabulous, receptive to all the different ideas that we've come up with, and really helping kind of like, myself, pushing me into thinking of different creative ways to market it, using the Metallica stuff that we've been doing with the giveaways. It's just been really fun, and also taking the risk of having a show on a month they just don't do shows. That's a big
on a Thursday.
Big thing.
Yeah,
and on a Thursday. So it's no small thing. We've all put a lot of work into it. I know Bogart's has, and just always open to our ideas, always very open communication, very easy to get along with, and just very available, for lack of a better word. And to what Beth said about Bogart's, the one thing that I remember most about it is it's the only venue that I've ever played where the fans are on stage with you, quite honestly, because the first tier, as the singers, if we're here, the fans are maybe 4 inches lower than us and right there. I mean, you can touch them and they can poke me right in the nose, I suppose. So it's close quarters.
All right.
Love it. Love it.
That's all I got. Dan, again, last questions?
That's all I've got. Yes.
Can I see? We're speaking of ideas and for everyone is we actually decided, I think it was yesterday, to start the show a half hour earlier because it is a school night. So we are starting promptly at 7:30 p.m.
Okay.
And then you guys talked about Axl Rose and the Metallica tour. Yeah. I'm not going to go on till 1 a.m. Yeah. I'm sorry, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. Always got to play the part,
Yes.
We wanted to get people out of there a little bit early on a work night. So it was just some feedback I'd gotten from the Jam Night folks. And so I was like, okay, I hadn't thought about that. And so I mentioned it to Bogart, and they agreed that was probably best to, have an earlier start time. It's not going to affect our set lengths or anything like that. So just kind of us, being mindful of people who have work and kids who have got to go to school.
And we want to sell it out, honestly.
No, yeah.
We want to sell
Absolutely.
it out. We've sold a lot of tickets. We want to sell more.
Yep.
I hear you.
It's going to be an incredible night. And again, anyone who comes out, for anyone who doesn't have a ticket, I hope to see you there. I just working with Beth and working with Bogart's, the two bands, I just have never seen this much effort put into a singular show. It is going to be incredible to finally unleash it. I cannot wait, actually.
It is very exciting. I see the ads popping up a lot and a lot of talk going on about it. So
good.
Should be a good time.
It should be fun. And for the listeners out there, remember, this is 2 90-set shows, separated with I'm not sure how the intermission will go, but 90 minutes straight through from both bands. And this is going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. Or do you guys get a break for your set, or are you going straight through?
Well, we do have to switch instruments and set up. So we got about a half-hour break in between.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the show. We got special guests Chris and Beth here on the show for tonight. Look forward to the show on Thursday night in Bogart's. Should be awesome.
Well, thanks for having us. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Good luck in the future, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you guys.